Hey everyone, it's Kong again, coming down off a Summon Fest high with a regular episode of Should You Summon. As always, I'm going to be presenting high-level overviews using these 4 criteria to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. So let's get right into this rate-up banner featuring Rozalia and the Light of Genesis, running from November 25th to December 8th. As a rate-up banner, of course, you have a 40% chance of getting each on-banner hero, with the remaining unlucky 20% reserved for any off-banner hero in the normal summoning pool. This banner actually isn't on the upcoming banner schedule again, and in fact neither of these characters appears on any additional upcoming banners, so this is your last chance to summon them on focus until at least late April 2022. First up, we have Rozalia. Rozalia is a highly mobile DPS who can plant stat-boosting beacons for the rest of your team. Her 3-cost skill is a single target attack that reduces the enemy's range by 1, often meaning they can't counterattack at all, plants one of her signature sword beacons, and lets her move again after combat. The beacons are essentially plus 10% command auras that also give some bonus healing. Her unique equipment, expected on global servers in just a couple weeks actually, in mid-December, is a kind of underwhelming sword. It passively reduces her chance of taking a critical hit by 20%, and it lets her ignore terrain when moving near her sword beacons. She's a member of Langrisser Reincarnation, buffed by Ares and Hilda, Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, and Grenier, and Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna, Shelfaniel, and Christiane. For bonds, she unlocks the attack bonds for Mariel and the upcoming new character Michelle, and the defensive bond for Werner. The current horseman Werner Dime, not the upcoming assassin Werner von Eigel, aka New Sigma. The one on the screen. For her own bonds, she needs Maya for her defensive bond and Ares for her attack bond. For content, in PvE, she's on faction for Leviar and Scylla in the Eternal Temple, and Hugin and Munin and Needhog and Sleipnir in Ancient Beckoning. She is a member of the top-scoring teams in the latter 2 fights, largely because of the stat boosts and incidental healing that she offers to the rest of your team. In PvP, she's definitely still a threat, even if you don't necessarily see her charging around popping jugglers anymore. Her great mobility and her Lancer neutral Holy class make her a great option for rush-focused teams, and with Christiane's recent release, she'll be easy to fit into princess boxes as well. Next up, we have the Light of Genesis. Tiny Jessica is a versatile, long-range magical DPS. Every time she enters battle or ends her turn, she gets 1 stack of her talent buff, worth 5% int, up to a maximum based on her star level. For every 2 stacks, her range is increased by 1, so at 6 stars she can reach +2 range, plus your Scepter of Divinity. Her 3C has some interesting playmaking potential. The active component is a single target magical attack that also heals your whole team. The passive component, though, lets her act again if she used an assist skill and ended her turn next to an ally. Usually this is paired with her teleport skill to help her get into the action quickly. She can also bring Strengthen to buff herself or an ally who's left stranded without a faction buff. Very versatile unit overall. She's a member of Langrisser Reincarnation, buffed by Ares and Hilda, Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, and Grenier, and Origins of Light, buffed by Dehart, Jugler, and Freya. For bonds, she unlocks the attack bonds for Suzette and the upcoming new character Elma, and the defensive bond for Mariel. For her own bonds, she needs the original Classic Jessica for her defensive bonds and Young Jessica for her attack bond. For content, in PvE, she's on faction for Scylla and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple, and in Ancient Beckoning, she's on faction for Hugin and Munin, but more importantly, she's currently one of the top meta picks against both Jormungandr and Sleipnir. Of course, with her range, teleport, and frequent act again potential, she's also designed to make big plays in PvP. She's one of the big 3 long-range magical threats along with Kyra and Lucretia, and it looks to be staying that way for the foreseeable future. So here's the quick and dirty. We have Rozalia, who's a highly mobile DPS with stat boosting and healing auras. She's a top scoring pick for Needhog and Sleipnir, and she unlocks attack bonds for Mariel and Michelle and defensive bond for Werner. We have Light of Genesis, who's a versatile long-range magical DPS playmaker with teleport and act again potential. She's a top scoring pick for Jormungandr and Sleipnir, and she unlocks attack bonds for Suzette and Elma, and defensive bond for Mariel. So that brings us to the notes for Noobs, just a quick little verdict-style summary, basically answering the question of whether you should summon for these units or not. Rozalia is a strong overall unit, probably not a must-summon for most people, but if you're interested in leaderboarding in Ancient Beckoning, you're going to want a copy. If you're a fresh account and you haven't secured something like Leon yet, then she could fill that go far and hit hard role for you as well. Light of Genesis is awesome. She's a highly recommended unit to try to summon. It's just a shame this is a raid-up banner, so there's no guaranteed summon here to protect you, but she's so widely useful that it's probably worth the risk. Just make sure you keep an eye on your stash of summoning resources. And thanks for the segue, previous section Kong. It's time for my notes about upcoming banners. We're now 2 weeks and 3 banners away from the Build-A-Banner workshop in December. I'll discuss how that works in its own video, but in the meantime we'll be treated to reruns featuring Mariel, Werner, and Patsir, Landius, Yulia, and Jugler, and Lanford, Shelfaniel, and Virash. Of course, that means we're also now less than 2 months away from the limited launch of Retham. So if you're a free-to-play player who's hauling in the maximum number of summons the game will give you, that's like 200 more summons tops, so it's time to start tightening our belts. Alright, that's it for this episode. I hope you found this video and these summaries helpful enough or interesting enough to warrant a little thumbs up. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members for generously supporting the channel directly. Levitt, Derek Gunderson, William Householder, Kate Soon, Jared Portela, Eden Seal, Shara Ilimerius, Kyle Greer-Brown, and Titan Bradicus. Thanks so much for your support, folks.